You've got ideas, you've got ambition, you've got no time, or so you think. I'm Marissa Lonick, and I help busy moms with big dreams and no time. Join me each week as I dive into time management strategies, goal setting and achieving framework, and inspiring guests who are juggling mom life, work life, fill in the blank life. Dreams don't work unless you do, and just because you're a mom doesn't mean you can't still make it happen, whatever it means to you. Welcome to the Mama Work It podcast. Hello, mama friends, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Mama Work It podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Lonick, working mom of 4, and I'm so excited to introduce you to our guest today. I know the juggle is real. I know you know the juggle is real. So I love it when I can find relatable working mom content on social media. And about a year or so ago, I came across an account that not only delivered on the authenticity, it made me laugh out loud so hard. My husband asked me if I was okay. So today, the woman behind those hysterical and relatable reels is here, and I just couldn't be more excited. Alyce Chan is a sketch comedy writer, producer, and stand-up comedian who performs internationally. Alyce has performed at the New York Comedy Festival, and her social media sketch reels have garnered millions of views. She can be seen regularly on the biggest parenting platforms like Scary Mommy, Motherly, and more. Alyce founded one of the biggest parenting platforms, MomCom NYC, which Vogue named among the top 6 funniest parenting Instagram accounts. This is legit, you guys, okay? She has been featured on CBC Radio, Today Parents, and NBC New York. She is also a speaker at Alt Summit and also for Mom 2.0 in 2023. And she's a New Yorker, which is my OG home base, so that's awesome. Alyce, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, Marissa, what a wonderful and beautiful introduction. I'm like, my cheeks are hurting from smiling. You've made me sound so good.
I mean, you are. I'm kind of fangirling here. I'm not going to lie.
You're so cute. You're so cute. Thank you so much. I love being here. I love talking to another mom who knows the struggle and the grind and is also creative in their own space. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I can't wait for this conversation. So first things first, tell us a little more about your background. What got you started as a comedian, as a writer? I'm so curious.
Oh my gosh, such a long story, but I'm going to give you an edited version, Marissa, because we don't have 2 days. So when I was younger, I kind of had to deal with being alone a lot. My parents were kind of like, having relationship struggles. I was bullied as a kid. My sister and I, she's a couple years older than me. We were fighting a lot. So I think I was left to my own devices, and also being bullied, I had to work on my personality because I had to find a way to connect with kids. And it wasn't based on my looks. It wasn't based on my haircut or my possessions because I had very little of that. And then in high school, I kind of just, I kept blossoming, working on my personality. I was called ugly many times as a child in high school by friends, by boys. And so it was never about like, I could just rely on my looks. And so I had ugly girl personality. And I also realized a lot of my friends were saying, oh, you're so funny. You're so funny. And I wanted to hear more of that. And also a middle child, which means that I seek validation everywhere I go. And when people kept saying I'm funny, I felt the need to keep being funny. And so I started doing impersonations of Richard Simmons back in the day. I started reciting jokes from joke books that I rehearsed the night before. And then kind of left that behind and did my creative stuff. Like I was a graphic designer, then I was a banker, and then I was a marketer. And then I decided to try improv, acting, and stand-up. And out of all those, stand-up comedy really spoke to me. And I really felt like it was my safe platform where I can connect with others without competing with anything else. And it wasn't about my looks, it was just really what I had to say. And when people are paying tickets to sit down at a comedy show, they are going to listen. So it was like, wow, I have an audience in front of me and I didn't have to fight for them. And so my love for comedy just kind of grew. And my mom com on social media started only about 5 years ago when my second son was born and I needed that creative outlet. And I wasn't doing a lot of stand up. I took a hiatus, like a 4-year hiatus. And all my jokes were really just on Instagram. It was just like little memes here and there. And that's when I thought, hey, I should kind of bring comedy to moms. I think that's my niche. And that's when I started Bring Your Own Baby. I called it BYOB comedy, where you bring your own baby to a comedy show in the morning at 10:30 in Brooklyn. And after 45 minutes, babies were ready for naps, moms were ready for a break. And it was just so refreshing to offer that to moms because we all know how being a new mom is so isolating. And the desire to talk to an adult or listen to adult content or conversations is so dire, but we don't know that. That's what we need when we first become moms. And so I created that community, and that kind of just translated into more of a following on my mom com. And then Scary Mommy kind of picked me up and we started doing reels together. And now I'm here and I'm still in the same parenting struggle. My kids are just older, but different struggles, but same kind of hardship, right? It never ends.
I don't think so. I mean, I've got 9, 9, 5, and 3, and I think it just changes as they develop. I don't know about you, but
Oh, wow. You have twins?
I have twins. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot. 4
Yeah.
kids.
I
Yeah.
really relate to a a lot of what you post. I do.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I have boys, and I think you have boys, if I'm not
I have 2
mistaken.
boys. Wait, you
Yeah,
have 4 boys?
4 boys.
I have to bow to you because I can't even handle 2 boys. 4 boys, that's like a whole football team.
I got a lot of content for you, girl, if you want to chat after this episode.
I bet you have so much content. I need to pick your brain. Good content. I
Yeah.
can imagine.
I love the BYOB thing, bring your own baby. That's awesome. You should go on tour with that. You should come out to the West Coast. We could use that. How about even like bring your own toddler, bring your own bring your own twins, bring your own kid, bring your own boys.
It became that the first year I started was Bring Your Own Baby. A lot of my friends came to support me. The first show had 7 people, 7 moms and 7 newborns. And there were all the newborns were either feeding or napping or crawling on the play mats. And then couple years later, the moms had another baby. So they were like bringing their toddler siblings. And then so the show had to grow to accommodate that. So instead of just play mats, I had like coloring books and easels and cookies to keep the toddlers kind of like quiet for 45 minutes. Babies would be crawling on the stage and they're the best hecklers. Like people would say, how do you even have a show where people focus on jokes when there's babies crying? No, they were the best audience because they were so enamored by that novelty. And it's only 45 minutes. I think like after 45 minutes, the babies have had enough and you're ready for the nap. I mean, so it was a
Yeah.
win-win. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I had to say it was a lot of work because you had to worry about so much about the safety of the babies. Babies were crawling up the stairs. Babies were picking up things and like putting it into their mouths, and then you had to worry about the comics showing up and fire hazards and where they change the diapers. So it was a lot, but it was probably the most fulfilling project I've had. It wasn't about the money, definitely, but it was just me. I just love taking care of new moms. I love taking care of moms, period. And
Yeah.
that to me was like the most proud I've ever been on a for a project.
That's beautiful. And I think new moms especially need to laugh because there is so
Mhm.
much to cry about during that postpartum season
There's so much
that
crying
so much
for
crying
sure.
in general. Yes, you need a good laugh. You do. And how beautiful that you created that space for that where you didn't have to even stress about finding the childcare to attend, right? Or what you were wearing or all
Yes.
of those things. Yeah.
Yes, isn't that the most stressful? The childcare. That's one huge factor in like the struggles of parenthood and the paying the childcare. And then yeah, what to wear. You don't have to worry about it. And feeding the child in public, nursing the kid or the kid crying. No one's going to be shaming you for your kid crying. It's all normal. And I want to provide a safe space, and my online presence is really the next thing. It's the safe space. It's not physical, but it's there for you to come laugh at me and laugh at my struggles, because I want you to know that you're not alone.
Yeah. Yeah. The laughing is so key. It's so important.
Really.
So it sounds like you have kind of always been funny, right? In your own way. Like you really gravitated toward that growing up. So I'm so curious, were you voted class clown in your senior class, or were you voted most likely to succeed because you've done so many awesome things?
No, I was never. I think I didn't even make it to, like, when in high school you had to vote for like the most successful or the person who's going to be a CEO of their own company. I didn't even make it to any of that. No one's ever called me a class clown. There was always a funnier person, usually a guy was always the
Mm,
funniest person and always getting in trouble. So I always knew there was a fine line. I'm like, I could be really funny, but I'm not going to push the envelope and get in trouble.
yeah.
Um,
Smart.
and so I did, yeah, I was very smart about it, very strategic. I knew how to be funny within the safe, where it was safe to be funny. And teachers were always like, "You're such a good student." So I knew how to suck up to the people who mattered, and also knew how to play practical jokes for the people who would tell on me. So it's very strategic. And yeah, but I was never voted as class clown or the most successful person.
Yeah. I wonder what those people are doing these days.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a reunion with them.
Yeah. So I'm really curious. Does your family think you're funny? Like, do your kids think you're funny? Your husband, your parents, your siblings?
My kids, if you ask them, they would say no, like literally with a straight face. No, my mom's not funny. My husband thinks I'm funny. I think that's what drew me to him. Um, my sisters think I'm funny. My dad and my mom don't really know what I do. Um, but I think my mom would say I'm funny. But it took her a while to kind of figure that out.
So if I met your parents and I asked them what you did for a living, they wouldn't say a stand-up comedian?
No, my dad has no clue. He still thinks I work at the bank like 12 years ago. Like that was he was the most proudest of that. Oh, my daughter works at a bank. Like he has no clue that I write jokes for a living. My mom has never been to a show, mostly because I talk about her, and also she claims she doesn't understand a lot of English, and uh and usually she has to babysit my kids while I do shows in Vancouver in
Makes
my
sense.
hometown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. So you're a creative, right? And I know
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm creating, ideas flow. Ideas are coming like waterfall. And then other times it's like a deathly slow trickle. So I'm sure you feel this. Can you relate to that?
Oh my gosh, totally. You just like described my last 2 weeks, actually last 2 months. It's just been very slow trickle, make dry sometimes. Like, and I just physically can't get the strength to even pull up my camera to record something. And yeah, it's a ebb and flow, and it really depends on what else is happening in my life, I think. I think when I'm stressed about childcare, it really does a thing to my creativity, or sleep if I don't have enough sleep, which is, a common theme for all parents. Or like worries about like now my parents are getting older. I'm realizing that this year I want to see them more, and it's kind of put a pause on my creativity, and I don't want that to happen because those are two separate things. I think you can still create amazing content and be hilarious, and that doesn't take away the important things in life and the priorities in life. So I'm trying to balance those two things out.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I mean, as moms and working moms, there's just a lot to juggle. There's a lot, like the mental load is legit. It's heavy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
things constantly swarming in and out. I mean, you hit a lot of things that I know I feel regularly. Childcare. I mean, when you don't have good childcare or like reliable childcare, that peace of mind,
Mhm.
I mean, it infiltrates everything. So totally, totally get it.
Yeah.
When you find yourself in that space, what do you do to kind of spark creativity? Because the show must go on, right? You know, I mean, you sometimes you just you got deadlines and you gotta get stuff done, right? So
Uh,
how do you get that spark moving or that flow going?
Such a great question. There was once I was at a comedy show, and 20 minutes before I was about to go on, my babysitter texted me. My husband was out of town. My two kids were at home with a babysitter, and she's like, "I gotta leave like in half an hour." I'm like, "Well, I'm like an hour and a half away from my home," and I start stressing out. And my friends could tell something was on my mind. They're like, "You don't look right." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really stressed out right now. I'm calling backup babysitters and I'm about to go on stage for in 20 minutes." Surprisingly, I found a neighbor friend. It takes a village. It was a friend who had no plans on a Friday night. She helped. She saved me. She came to my door, relieved the babysitter, and performed. But had I not have had that, I don't know what I would have done. Another thing is like, yeah, I have deadlines where I'm creating content for brands, and sometimes I have to just shake it out. Like, I need alone time. I need to decompress. I need to be away from the family, and it could be like locking myself in a room or walking outside, playing some music, meditate for a little bit, and then I can be back like on equilibrium and then create something. But yeah, it could that's why I give myself a lot of time. Sometimes I take about 2 weeks to create something that's like 30 seconds because I don't know if Tuesday and Wednesday I'm going to be able to film if I even feel it. I got to feel it. So I give myself enough buffer time um just in case to factor that in.
Yeah, that's smart. You need to do that because
Mhm.
you do wake up some days with the best intentions, but then either life happens or your
Yeah,
head's just not where you need it to be. And so having that content strategy ahead of time or just that, utilizing when you do feel that energy to kind of like batch things and get things done is so important. I'm curious,
totally.
where do you get your best ideas? Because I know where I get my best ideas, but I don't know if you have a special tip.
I I I'm gonna guess that you get your best ideas right at home. If, like, I get them at home, like, something happens, I'm like, either I'm annoyed or frustrated by it. That makes the best content when I'm annoyed by something or frustrated by something. When I'm happy about something, I really don't create content based on that. Because that's kind of to me, it's like, hey, I'm humble bragging. My husband just got me flowers and taking me on a date. That's not funny. It's like nice, but no one's gonna come to my page to see like how great my husband is. So when you go on my page, there's a lot of like just dogging my husband, like putting him under the bus. And people love that, right? Like I it's not him anymore. It started to be him maybe the first few posts. And then I embellished this character. He's like out of control now. Like he's a totally different person. And he's so like such a chump. And it's become this different character. My husband will watch it and he's like laughing. Um, but yeah, it's based on like something my husband did that really annoyed me. And I just take it like 10 steps further. Or my kids did something or got mad at me for something very like trivial and I'll take that and run with it.
Yeah. So so we're watching an embellished version. We should know this is not the man you're married to.
So,
He's
and then
actually
it's
10
funny.
times nicer.
Yeah, well, more than that, like I remember we went to a house party and someone's like, "Oh, hey, you're Alice from this Instagram page." It's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "And this is my husband." And they're like, "Wait, you don't look anything like this person with a baseball cap and Asian. He's not even Asian." And everyone's always like, "I can't connect. what? This looks, I'm very disoriented right now. So I'm like, it's best if people don't meet him in person.
Keep
I
him
hide him.
incognito.
Yeah, I hide him.
Yeah. I agree. I do think like real life does give you the best stuff to write about. Like I write a weekly newsletter and I write it pretty much in real time. I can't necessarily write that far in advance. One, because I just sometimes that's like the one thing I can't get together to
Mhm.
get in advance. But two, I like to tell you what's actually happening like in real time, right? So like last
Ah,
week I wrote about the fact that it's been freaking raining here nonstop for months. I
oh,
mean, it's going to rain all week here now. And I mean, by the time this episode airs, hopefully we'll have beautiful, sunny California weather like we normally do. But it was like getting to me, like I was like on the brink of seasonal depression, and I'm like, I've been out here 7 years. Like this doesn't happen, and it was just like disorienting. And I really wanted to write about the fact that like, hey, like if you're going through a challenging time right now, like I am, even if it's something ridiculous like the weather, it's affecting things, right? Like it's affecting
yeah.
how I envision my day going, how this is happening, being late to school drop, all the things. And this is how you can handle it. So I agree. Real life content does make the best content. And I don't know about you, but specifically, I get my best ideas in the shower. In the
Oh,
shower.
wow.
Yeah.
That's so funny because someone asked me about that before because a lot of people get their best ideas in the shower, but I hardly have time in the shower because as soon as I go in the bathroom, someone's looking for me. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's a good 20-second shower. I had nothing to think about except like, where's the soap? And then someone's knocking on the door looking for something. I get my best ideas at 3 in the morning when I randomly wake up for no reason. And I'm
Mm,
like, ooh, I should do this. And I'll write something down.
yes.
Half the time in the morning when I read it, I'm like, what is this chicken scratch? I don't even know what I was thinking. And the other half is like brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliance. So the more I wake up randomly, the better.
It makes sense because
Yeah.
it's your subconscious,
Yeah.
and like 95% of your success, I recently read, is your subconscious. So, like, the fact that
Oh,
you're waking up and getting those downloads, totally in line.
oh my gosh, Marissa, now that makes sense. Because I was like, why am I getting the best ideas at 3 in the morning?
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I should set an alarm at 3 in the morning now. Wake up at 3 every night.
The more you know. All right.
Mm,
Last question before we dive into our kind of random fun lightning round.
yeah.
Why do you think specifically it is so important to find the humor in motherhood?
Oh, such a great question. Because I think, and we touch on this, it's so much already, such a heavy mental load for us. And if we don't, and I think it goes with everybody, if you don't laugh at least once a day, then you're not really finding the levity. And I think the less you take life, like the less serious you take life, the more I think you can gain in terms of happiness. You got to let go of the perfectionism. You got to let go of like the schedules and the rules and like what people are writing in books. And don't take yourself so seriously. I think having humor is really basically you're not taking yourself seriously. And who doesn't want to laugh? It makes you feel good. Physically, your endorphins are up when you laugh. So motherhood is a struggle. It's the hardest job, and there are a lot of jokes about like motherhood is not the hardest job. Yes, it is because you are in charge of these little kiddos or a kid. Doesn't matter how many kids you have. It's hard because you don't want to screw them up. You might, but you're trying your hardest to be a have them be a better version of you. And that goes to everything from what you say it, how you do bedtime, how you compliment them. There's so much. Then outside of that, you're managing the household. Even though you're working a 9 to 5 job or a 9 to 9 job or whatever job you have, you're still managing, making sure the household is running. And let's not even talk about the meal planning. That's like a totally different animal. But yeah, I think laughing is very important. I think humor really connects yourself to yourself. And I think that deep connection to yourself is very important. To just stay true to yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Everybody listening, make it a goal, a daily goal to laugh
Oh,
every single day. And if you
mhm.
need a source, MomCom NYC will give it to you.
Oh, I
For sure.
try.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Are you ready to hop into some random, just for fun
Oh
type
my gosh.
questions? You ready
Yes.
for this?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. I'm very curious. If you could go on vacation tomorrow anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go to Bali because I had this amazing trip with my two sisters, were the closest a few years back, right before the pandemic started. And it was like waking up at 6 in the morning to roosters, seeing geckos in your shower, open space, natural air, awesome food, so much good coffee, great conversations, and just the vibe and the energy and the people were so kind there. I would love to go back to Bali if it was like a short flight for me.
That sounds really fun. Can I
I
tag
know.
along with your sisters?
Yes, please come. We're gonna plan another one.
Okay, let me know.
Let's do it.
All right, what if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life? What would it be? Calories don't count.
Okay, calories don't count and health don't count. Donuts. My
Mm,
God, glazed donuts,
yeah, good choice.
right?
Yeah,
So good. You could eat them warm or like room temperature and with coffee all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is your cocktail of choice?
I'm not, despite what many people might think of me, I'm not a heavy drinker. I love fruity cocktails. I love chambord with like orange and champagne. I like kind of those type of drinks. Um, or like a pina colada.
Yeah, nothing like a pina colada on the
No, at
beach.
like even wintertime, I'll have a pina colada.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What's your like get it done song really motivates you?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I like anything in the 80s, the 90s hit, but my go-to is Usher,
Which one?
the Yeah song,
Oh,
and in the
yeah.
I'm like I'm just his number one fan.
Yeah. I
Usher.
mean, that's a good jam. That's a good jam.
Yeah,
I have
so good.
vivid memories of
In the club.
dancing to that song.
Yeah, me too. So good. Yeah, Usher.
Yeah. All right. What's your guilty pleasure TV show?
Oh, um, I like watching anything with women who kill, fiction, or women who are head of a cartel. So I was like binging on some like Killing Eve, and there was another one. I forgot what it was called, but it was a woman who was a head of the cartel, and she was so badass.
Yeah. I love how specific those genres are.
I know, I know. I don't. I watch it by myself, not with my husband.
Did you see that show Dead to Me on Netflix?
Christina Applegate is my hero.
Yeah.
Yes,
That
I
was a good
finished it.
show. Yeah.
It's
You
so well
said
done.
women who kill. I thought of it, you know?
I Yes, yeah. She kills in every way. She's so funny.
Yeah.
Don't want to give it away, but I would love to hang out with her. We should all go to Bali together.
Let's do it. After this
Yeah.
call, we'll get on the line with her publicist or her
Yes.
assistant, whoever books her
Yeah.
trips. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's make it happen
Yeah. Have Usher playing in the background in our private jet.
on repeat over
Yeah.
and over.
Serving us pina coladas and chambord and champagne.
Yes. All right. Last question. What if you could have any superpower? What would it be?
um, I would like to be invisible.
Hmm.
Like I could sneak into any club. I could eavesdrop and know who my real friends are. If someone was like running after me, I can like snap my fingers, get be invisible. I don't even have to fight anyone off. Like that's the best. I can nap and no one will find me. I could
Hmm.
take a shower and the kids will be like, "Where's mom?" I don't know.
There you
Well, the
go.
shower's running, but mom's not there. I could have an
Invisibility.
hour-long shower. Yeah. that would be my power. That's such a great question.
Yeah, that's such a good answer.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fantasizing about it now.
Next reel is all about the invisibility superpower.
Oh, you just gave me an idea, Marissa. I like that.
All right, go. I'm excited to
I'm
see it.
excited. Oh, I love that.
All
I'm
right,
writing it down.
Alyce, before we officially wrap up, please tell our listeners where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm active on that every day, MomCom NYC. People can come to my website, momcom.co, and that's where I post my live shows as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Marissa. This was so fun.
You've been listening to the Mama Work It podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and would love if you could take a quick minute to leave me a review on whichever platform you're listening from, and maybe even send a note to a fellow mama friend recommending it. Reviews and recs help this podcast grow and reach more like-minded, awesome moms. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click that button so we can stay in touch, girl. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Mama Work It website, please do. There are lots of free resources and great articles there that can help you with the juggle of work life, mom life, wife life, fill in the blank life. So head on over. Thanks again for being part of the tribe. I'll see you soon, but in the meantime, keep on working it, mama.